Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend and you're rested and ready to get into the last stretch of the 2019 here. So here we go. The 5-minute moneymaker last week was this tool should be available for those weeks when the market and economy gets rocky. So if this is a good thing to know or have a resource for when things go kaput in the market, so you can immediately get that out to your client. So if you haven't taken a look at that, why don't you take a look at that and then save it so you have that available to you. Also, we're in the holiday season, so Christmas light tours. We have and I highly recommend that you do this. We have a system for how to do that. I talk about it every year. I always did summer barbecues and Christmas light tours in the winter, and then barbecues in the summer, because that would be my two contacts are all my clients. So if you haven't looked at that, go ahead and look at that. It's an easy, fun thing to do. Clients love it, and it's a great way to meet their friends, neighbors, and relatives too. So if you haven't looked at that, please go look at that. Epidemic marketing. So if you already use epidemic marketing on a monthly basis, you probably don't need to be on the rest of this call. But if you're not using it on at least a monthly basis, or if you want re-emphasizing it or a pat on the back for why it makes sense, then please stick with us here for the next half hour or so I can kind of walk you through why this makes sense. So it's long-term marketing. It's cost-effective. It costs $7 to $30 per person to bring on a new client. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. It's easy. It gets clients that don't respond to other type of marketing. That's a huge thing. And it gives you name recognition and gets large case sizes, which again, I'll touch on here in a second too. So, I mean, some of the guys that have used this in the first month of using the epidemic marketing had 4 great referrals and brought on a new client. I don't know, I got along without it. I have a guy moving $2 million by using epidemic marketing to bring him in. I had a gentleman telling me the reason he chose me over every other advisor was due to epidemic marketing material I had sent to him. And he moved $1.2 million with me. So let me ask you a question. Why did this last one? I had a gentleman tell me the reason he chose me over every other advisor was due to epidemic marketing. Why do you think that was the case? What did that guy, or did epidemic marketing, give to that guy that he said, wow, this is a contact. There, Tom's got it. Nick's got it. It's non-financial information. See, if you go on a date with a girl, the only thing you talk about is sex, what does she know about you? That's all you care about. And so our epidemic marketing is actually, the drip marketing is actually about non-financial things, because that's what shows that you care about them as a human being. It shows that you are about way more than just getting your hands on their investments. So why isn't everybody using it? See, you get big clients using this with low cost. See, the problem is it does not work if you have ADHD. What I mean by that is once you start, you need to what? Once you start it, you need to what? Continue it. Yeah, you can't do it, once, do it 3 months in a row, then stop for 6 months, then do it for 2 months in a row, then stop for 3 months. You got to be consistent. So do it monthly. Do it monthly. Okay? It only costs you $7.30 to get a new client, not a prospect, but a client. And the reason it works is because it helps us time getting a new client. Do we ever know when a client's going to be, or a prospect's going to be in a buying mood? No, we don't. So it's a way to stay in front of them at all times, okay? And I'm going to explain why it works so well. But the main thing is this, is if you do epidemic marketing consistently, you're going to get few clients here, and then you get more and more clients, which white to their eyes marketing or seminar marketing, that allows you to do less and less and less of that. Because once you have a consistent flow of clients coming from epidemic marketing, it allows you to do less and less of the seminars. That's why it makes sense, but you got to do it consistently. So what makes epidemic marketing so successful? Well, who is your best prospect? Who is your best prospect? Someone with money and someone who likes working with an advisor. See, I tell people, my best prospect is my competitor's best client. Does my competitor's best client have money? Yay or nay? Yeah. And do they like working with an advisor? Yay or nay? Yay. Yes. So that's my best prospect. But see, here's the problem. There's a physics problem here. Two objects cannot what? occupy the same space at the same time. So they already have another advisor. So not that many people with money are actively looking for financial advice. Do you get that, guys? When it comes to I make this point over and over and over with marketing. Somebody who responds to your marketing, are they pre-sold? Somebody who responds to your marketing, or anybody's marketing, not ours, anybody's marketing, are they pre-sold? No. Why? Because if they really did not like their advisor and they were looking for help, would they have waited until they got your marketing, or would they have gone out and found one? Yeah, they would have gone out and found one. Yeah. So they're not actively looking for financial advice. So we have a hurdle here. The hurdle is their current advisor, because the reason they're not looking for actively looking for advice is they think, my guy is what? My guy's taking care of me, so I don't need to be out looking for help because I already got that taken care of. My guy's already taking care of me. So here's the thing, though. If you're an athlete or you're a warrior, what you want to do is identify your opponent's weakness and then exploit it, right? So what are our clients' weaknesses? See, can we offer sales on our products? Can we say, oh, our nudies, 10% off today? If it's Cyber Monday, we're giving our nudies 25% off. Can we do that? Nope. So we can't do that. We could claim to have great service. What's the matter with saying I have great service and I really care more about my clients than anybody else out there? What's the problem with that? Yeah, everybody says it. Everybody. So those two things don't work. See, we have a catch-22. We can't prove we are better than our competitors until the client works with us. We can't prove that we're better than our competitors until they work with us, but they're not going to work with us until we can prove that we're better than our competitor. Now, one of the tools that we have to do that is what? The 21-point checklist. So one of the tools, but we can't do a 21-point checklist until they what? Come to see us. So do you see how does the 21-point checklist take care of this catch-22, where we can't prove we're better than our competitors until the client works with us, but our client won't work with us until we can prove we're better than our competitor? Do we prove that we're better than our competitor with a 21-point checklist? Yeah. And do we do it before they actually work with us? Do they move any money to us? Do they give us any money? Do they sign up with us? Yeah. So see, the 21-point checklist takes care of this, but we got to get them in the office to do that. So what's the other thing that we need to do? Well, as I said earlier, if all we talk about is money, they're going to know that we just want to get our hands on their money. So we use epidemic marketing to get them in. See, it exploits our competitor's biggest weakness. CEG Worldwide, which is a fantastic research organization, asked 512 advisors, what percentage of clients are loyal? Now, when they ask the advisors, these advisors, what percentage of your clients are loyal? What do you think the percentage that advisors think their clients are loyal? What do you think that percentage would be? Yeah, you guys are saying 80, 100, almost all. You're exactly right. The number was 75%, but you're right, a high number. Then they went and asked 1,417 clients, are you loyal to your advisor? What do you think that number was? Yeah, it's pretty smart. I got 20, 10, 25, 13.8%. 13.8%. So the rest were what? Satisfied, not loyal. But here's the problem. Satisfied clients will kill your business. Satisfied clients will kill your business. Here's why. The difference between loyal and satisfied clients. How many qualified referrals were given by loyal clients? 11.8. How many of you have gotten 11.8 referrals from a client last year, over the last 2 or 3 years? So what does that tell you about how many loyal clients you have? Satisfied clients, 0.1, 0.1. I would venture to guess that it's closer to this. How much new money, not old money, new money did they invest? On average, 376, 17. Amount of assets taken away, loyal, 0. Satisfied, on average, $100,000 taken away. Invested in something else. See, satisfied clients will stay until what? Satisfied clients are going to stay with you until what? They find something better. Yeah, find something better. Fred's, yeah, that's right, Fred. So here's the great thing. When I'm thinking about this, am I talking about you, or do I want you thinking about how epidemic marketing affects your best prospect, which is your competitor's best client? So you're probably thinking, oh, geez, my clients are only satisfied and these things are happening. But think about this. Think about your competitor. Do you think your competitor's clients are loyal, or do you think they're satisfied? They're satisfied. So they're going to stay with your competitor until they find something better. And so we're going to use epidemic marketing to be better. See, unfortunately, what most advisors are pursuing is what? What are most advisors pursuing? A better way to performance. That's right. Better way to get them money. They buy Morningstar. They buy Value Line. They buy Delbar. They have all these. They have algorithms and better financial planning software, and they try to find a better money manager. How many clients leave their advisor because of performance? What's the number one reason people leave? And somebody said it earlier. What's the number one reason people leave their? That's right, David. What's the number one reason clients leave their advisor? That's right, Nick, Tom. No contact. Lack of contact. Lack of service. Lack of return. But here's how it stacks up. Lack of contact. 82% of people who left their advisor mentioned lack of contact. 47% mentioned lack of service. Less than 20% mentioned lack of return. But what are most advisors pursuing? A better way to contact their clients, or a better way to get them a higher return? See, we've talked about with return. Can you make your client happy with return, a high return? They say, well, I'm getting divorced, but I got a high return. Oh, I've got cancer, but I've got a high return. Will a return make them happy? No, it'll make them excited. And how long does that excitement last? Forever, or is it momentary and then they go on with their life? I mean, we can make them unhappy, because if we give them if we lose half their money, or we lose 30% of their money, do they say, well, at least I got my health, well, at least I have a happy marriage? No. If we lose 30% of their money, guess what? Are they sad? Are they stressed? Are they only thinking about it momentarily, or does it haunt them on a daily basis? We shouldn't go out to eat today. We shouldn't go out to that vacation we wanted to go on vacation with. See, we can't make them happy, but we sure the heck can make them sad. But what are most advisors trying to get? A better return for their clients, or are they doing a better job contacting them? And we want to do a better job. And luckily, they're pursuing return, which this is their Achilles heel, isn't it? It's the reason people leave, and it's the thing that advisors ignore. So if this is their Achilles heel, what do we want to attack? Trying to get a better return, or trying to contact our prospects in a better way? This is what we want to attack. See, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And what's our epidemic marketing about? The newsletter is giving them a helpful hint that's not investment related. It's finance related, but not investment related, a helpful hint. And then we include in the envelope the checklist. Now, is that checklist something they're going to use, whether it's how to have a garage sale, the things to pack on vacation, what to keep in your safety deposit box, the documents you should save for how long? Whether they use it or not, doesn't matter. Some months they're going to use it, some months they won't. But it's a gift. It's like when you move into a neighborhood, somebody brings you a cherry pie. If you're allergic to the cherry pie, and as soon as they leave, you throw it in the garbage, what do you think? Because you're allergic to cherries. So as soon as you moved into a neighborhood, neighbor comes over, gives you a pie, says, welcome to the neighborhood. You throw it away as soon as they leave because you're allergic. What do you think about that? Yeah, that's right, Daniel. You think that was still a nice gesture. Boy, that's nice to have neighbors who welcome me like this. So it's the old adage. It's not the gift. It's the what? The thought that counts. And then we also throw in the walk down memory lane. What's the walk down memory lane do? Makes them excited to get the newsletter every month. So you give them a newsletter that gives them a good idea. You give them a tool that could be helpful 6 times out of 12. about every other month. And then you give them, depending on the client, and then you also give them something that makes them happy, puts a smile on their face. Is that a good thing to do to a prospect every single month when we know that the reason they're going to leave their current guy is lack of contact? Because do our competitors make mistakes? Do they forget to return calls? Do they not reach out to the clients and wait for the clients to call them? Do they have assistants that maybe are having bad days and are maybe not as nice on the phone? Here's another thing. When the market has a burp or a belch and goes down, and they call the advisor and say, hey, what's going on with my account? It's down 10%. Do our competitors say things like this? Do they say, now remember, we've invested for this, so don't worry about it. We've invested for the long term. It's going to come back up. So, take a breath. It's going to be okay. Do our advisors say things like that? Do our competitors say things like that? And is that a mistake or not a mistake? Is that a mistake or not a mistake? It's a huge mistake, all right? It's a huge mistake. Because what if they just told that client, don't bother me? Why? Hey, we talked about this. Don't bother me. Is that telling the client that they feel their pain? Or is it telling their client, dude, we talked about this. Why are you bothering me? It's going to be okay. Quit worrying about it. It's a slap in the face. Exactly. I agree with that. Does that make sense? So if they get your letter the very day their clients, their advisor says that, who are they going to call? You. See, knowing equals a better return. Caring equals what? Showing that you care. Talking about things other than finances. See, how does mom know that you care about her? How does your mom know that you care about her? What kind of things can you do to make your mom know that you care about her? That's right. Call her. You can't just say, Mom, I love you. You got to call her. You got to visit her. You got to see her. You have to have what? Contact. You can't just say, Mom, I love you, and then contact her once a year at Christmas. See, we spend a ton of time chasing what we have no control over, which is return. We have the one thing we do have control over, contact. How many advisors spend? If advisors divided their time, how much time are they spending chasing return, which they have no control over, versus spending time on contact, which they have total control over? See, CG Worldwide studies show that how do you make a client loyal? Contact, but it's a special kind of contact. Loyal clients had 21.2 times a year about non-financial issues. That's what created a loyal contact. Why did it, again, 21.2 times about non-financial issues. What does it sound like? Who would you contact 21.2 times about non-financial issues in your life? Who would you talk to twice at family? Yep. Who else? Friends, yes. So by the fact that you're contacting them 21.2 times a year about non-financial issues, you're acting like a family member and you're acting like a friend. You know what you're not acting like? What are you not acting like? A salesperson, that's right. So, is our epidemic marketing non-financial? Yes. So that's at least 12 times. That's giving you 12 out of the 21. You're halfway there with the epidemic marketing. What other kind of things should you do? Birthdays, client anniversaries, not their wedding anniversaries, but the day they came on as a client. All my clients, you probably heard me. I used to write 200 handwritten notes per month. I'm sorry, per month, per week. No, it was per month. Sorry about it. 200 handwritten notes per month when I was making $1 million a year. I wrote them at night when I was at home. So one of the notes I would write to people is if they came on in December, then I'm going to write them a anniversary. Thanks for being a client. It's our 5th anniversary of you being a client of mine. I greatly appreciate all the years we've gotten to know each other, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I got Daniel saying 4th of July notes, Christmas notes, Thanksgiving notes, business anniversary notes, birthday notes. If you do those things, and the 12 epidemic marketings, are we getting pretty darn close to the 21.2 times a year about non-financial issues? See, not about money, non-financial. So epidemic marketing, you could do 2 times a month because you could also do an email as well, right? Now that brings up, with epidemic marketing, should you be sending it via the newsletter, the worksheet, and or the tip sheet and the walk down memory lane? Should you be mailing it by snail mail or by email? Everybody's got it. Snail mail, snail mail, snail mail. That's right. The reason being is this. Back in the early 2000s, I recommended people email them. Why did I recommend people email them back in the early 2000s? Because that's right, everybody's got it. Because everybody's mailbox at their curb was stuffed with junk mail. I mean, fistfuls. And they were getting very little email. Now it's a complete polar opposite, where your mailbox has much less junk mail, but your email has a whole bunch more junk mail. So we want to go where there's less stuff. So now we want to mail it once per month. And then you can also send out a little email. And are there all sorts of little things that you could email people? Do you ever see an article that you could email your clients and prospects during a month? Yeah, just send, hey, I thought of you when I saw this, boom, right out to them. Advisors don't have time to contact people 2 times a month. Well, that's why we do epidemic marketing. If you do it yourself, it's going to take 1 to 2 hours a month. Once you have your mail merge set up, it's only going to take about 1 to 2 hours a month to do, or 5 to 10 minutes if you have an assistant, because you're just going to hand it off to them. So again, epidemic marketing, I give the example of, it's not necessary, but it's what makes people want to be with you. The example I give is with my dentist and my wife's dentist. My wife's dentist has movies. She has movies that she can watch while she's having her dental work done. Mine doesn't. So will I leave my dentist for hers just because she has movies? No, I won't. But what's happened to my patience for my guy to make a mistake? Yeah, that's right, David. My standard has gone up. Now that I know that there's dentists out there doing other things rather than just doing dentistry stuff, my standard has gone up. And if my dentist, what's going to happen to his leeway for making a mistake? Goes up or goes down? I'm going to give him more benefit of the doubt or less benefit of the doubt. If he makes a small mistake, I'm going to say, I've had it. You're not even doing what you should be doing. I'm out of here. I'm going to my wife's dentist. Do you get that? That's what you're doing with epidemic marketing. You're waiting for your competitor to make a mistake, and we just agreed they all make mistakes because they have satisfied clients, not loyal clients. Satisfied clients are looking for something better, and if you contact their clients, so if you contact your competitors' clients 12 times a year about non-financial things, are they doing that, guys? How many of your competitors are contacting their clients 21 or 12 times a year about non-financial things? 0. Zippo. Exactly. So when they find something better, they're going to move. So 2 weaknesses your competitors possess: they don't contact clients. Don't contact 86.2% of their clients about non-financial issues, and they think they have satisfied clients are good enough. And we now know satisfied clients are not good enough. They're going to leave. So competitors trying to control the uncontrollable rate of return. That means you got to attack their weakness, which is the non-financial issues contacting. And it's inexpensive. Inexpensive contact. So how does epidemic marketing work? You got to be consistent. Your message has to be about how much you care. It's not about the money. And reasons to contact that you have not, that is not a sales pitch. And the messages must be coordinated. We do all that stuff for you. Contacts are cost and time efficient. If I went back, now again, I'm not telling you should do this, but if I went back into private production, and again, I have a nice bank account that I could do this, but if I went back into private practice, the first thing I would do for 6 months is I would take 10,000 people who were retired, get the names and addresses of 10,000 people who are retired nearest to me, and I'm going to send them out the epidemic marketing every single month. Those 10,000 people every single month for 6 months. Why would I do that? How many people would now know who I am, would have good thoughts about me, who, when I sent out a seminar invitation, would recognize my name? Out of that 10,000, probably 8,000, right? So is it a good thing to have 8,000 people know who I am, what I'm about, that I care about that, that's, I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm telling you that's how important I think this is. So highly successful means that we want income to go up and up and up, and marketing accounts to go down, 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 down. The better and more people you have on your epidemic marketing, the more your income is going to go up, and the less you're going to have to do expensive marketing. That's why it's so important. And we have other epidemic systems too. Remember, we have the client prospect drip. That's what you guys do. But we also have the CPA attorney drip. And who should we be sending the CPA and attorney drip out to? Who should we, and I don't really care about the attorney drip, throw that away, but the CPA for sure. Yeah, our client CPAs, that's who we should be sending it out to, exactly right. We also have the business pot, the small business pot of gold. Now, here's the thing. When I've talked to advisors and they land a whale, generally, where does that whale come from? Not always, but generally, where does that whale come from? That's right. Somebody who just sold their business. Somebody who just sold their business. Now, the problem is, when do we find out somebody's going to sell their business? Before or after it happens? After it happens. We see it in the paper. We see it in the paper. So here's the great thing about small business sales, though. I had 2 small business sales, and they were both monsters. Now, and unfortunately, they're both, well, they were not fortunately or unfortunately, but they were both after I actually kind of stopped my personal production. But how much time and effort did that small business person put into deciding whether they should work with me or not? A lot or little? As compared to a normal client. It's odd, but you're right, David, not much. Because they've gone through life making decisions how? Based on relationships. And they pretty much know who they're going to believe with, or who they believe and who they're going to work with and not. So they're making it based on a personality, not so much on the mind. I mean, it has to have some, there has to be some reason financially to why go forward, but it's a much easier sale than a typical analytical engineer or somebody else. It's a very, very easy sale. It's weird because it's a big chunk of money. But the thing is, they've never had a big chunk of money like this. They've never had $5 million before. They've never had $10 million before. And are they comfortable with that money sitting there, or are they a little nervous with that money sitting there? They're nervous. And they want to find a home for it as soon as possible. And they don't do a lot of analysis. As long as it makes sense on the surface, they're going to move forward with it. So we love those sales, but we don't know when they're going to happen. So what you use a small business pot of gold for, what that is, it's a small business newsletter that you send out once a month to family-owned businesses. Don't send it to corporations. Send it to family-owned businesses. Because if they've received that for 3 years, what do you have invested? If you're sending out a newsletter printed on basically printer paper, a newsletter in an envelope with a stamp, how much have you invested over the 3 years before they sell their? $20 maybe, $30, $40. So let's say you had 100 people and you spent $40. What do you into that over 100 businesses? What do you into that over 3 years then? $40 over 3 years for 100 entities. Yeah, $4,000. And is there a possibility one of those businesses out of 100 are going to sell? Or 2 of those businesses are going to sell over those 3 years? And how much money will you make on a $5 million sale or a $10 million sale? So it's worthwhile. This is the only whale hunting that I recommend is the small business pot of gold. That's the only whale hunting that I recommend. And what do you think these small business newsletters are about? Money? Investing? Yeah, it's about how it's ideas on what would make their business better, ideas on what would client service for them, ideas on how they make their business more profitable. That's what this newsletter is about. So if you like whales, that's the only whale hunting I recommend. Make sense? So please, 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 if you have, December is a great time to put together the mail merge list, get this stuff going so it's all on autopilot for 2020. Make sense? So, and next week, you want to be on next week's call. We have something that a lot of people are going to be pretty excited about. So make sure you're on next week's call. It's something that you're going to be able to use effectively over the next month to make your 2020 a much more profitable year. So I'm excited to give that to you next week. And then you guys all have a good rest of this week, and we'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.